Hi. In this video, we'll be discussing the methods to calculate the squares. Fine. Although there are n number of methods to calculate the squares, but we'll try to discuss the most effective ones so that you can easily calculate the squares of the numbers till 200 within seconds. Fine. Let's look at the method. In the first part, we'll be discussing the method to calculate the squares of the numbers closer to 100. Let's look at the method. So we'll be dealing with the numbers closer to what? 50, not 100. Calculation of the squares of the numbers closer to 50. You take any number closer to 50, whether it's more than 50 or less than 50. But remember that for this method, you'll have to learn the squares till 25. You'll have to learn the squares of the first 25 natural numbers. Now, what's the step number one? You'll have to choose the base. Since you're calculating the squares of the numbers closer to 50, your base will become your base will become 50. So step number one is what? You'll have to choose the base. In this particular case, the base will become 50 because the number will be closer to 50. What's the next step? Square the base. Now, what is square of this 50? I believe it's 2500. So you'll get 2500. The next step is remove the last two digits of this answer. What are the last two digits of this answer? 00. After removing that, you get 25. And the fourth step will depend on your number. Let's take a number here. Let's say I want to calculate the square of 48. I want to calculate the square of 48. Now, what's given here? Take the difference of your number and base. What was your base? 50. What's the number? 48. So the difference of 50 and 48 comes out to be 2. Fine. Now you'll get your answer in seconds. But remember that your answer will contain two parts. First part, this could be the second part. Now, what we did in the fourth step, we took the difference of our number and base. What was that difference? 2. So if you're looking for the square of 48, second part of the answer will depend on this difference. The difference is 2. That's why the second part becomes 2 square. This is the second part. Now, what about the first part? I'll be using this answer in the first part. I'll write 25 here. Then either I'll add something or subtract something depending on the given number. Tell me your number is more than base or less than base. This 48 is more than base or less than base. I can see that it's less than base. It's 2 less than base. That's why I'll subtract it. If the number is more than base, in that case, you'll have to add it. Now, this 48 is how much less than base? 2. So I'll subtract 2 here. Now, let's look at the final answer. 2 square will give 4. But remember that second part of the answer should be of 2 digits. That's why I'll write 04. What about the first part? 25 minus 2 will give you 23. So my answer becomes 2304. I hope this is clear to you. Let's look at few more examples so that this concept becomes very clear to you, and after that you'll be able to find the squares of any number within seconds. Let's look at one more example. Let's say a number is in the range of 40s. Let's take it equal to 42. Just a second. The number is 42. If you choose a number as 42, you want to calculate 42 square. Now, do you remember what was the first step? You'll choose the base equal to 50. The method will remain same. That means the first four steps will remain same even in this case. Your base was 50. When you square it, you get 2500. Remove the last two digits of this 2500. You'll be left with 25 only. Now your answer will contain two parts. Second part of the answer. Your number is more than base or less than base. Your base is 50. It's 8 less than base. That's why the second part of the answer becomes 8 square. And what about the first part? I'll be using this 25 here. So I'll say 25 plus or minus, depending on the given number. What's your number? 42. It's more than 50 or less than 50? It's less than 50. How much? 8. So I'll subtract 8 here. Now let's look at the final answer. 8 square is 64, which itself is a two-digit number. So I'll write 64 in. What about the first part? 25 minus 8, that is equal to 17. So my answer becomes 1764. I hope this is clear. Let's take one more number where the number will be more than base. That means a number in the range of what? 50s. Okay. Let's take a number like 57. And the first three steps will remain same. You'll choose your base as 50, square it, you get 2500, and after that you'll be left with 25. Now look at your number, it's more than base or less than base. 57 is 7 more than your base 50. So second part of the answer becomes 7 square. What about the first part? It's 25 plus or minus. Since a number is more than base, I'll use plus sign here. How much more than base? 7 more than 50. So I'll add 7 here. This gives you 3249. So the answer becomes how much? 3249. I hope this is clear to everyone. This is a very effective method. Let's look at few more cases. Let's look at a number which is in the range of 60s. If you choose a number as 61, first three steps will remain same. The base will become 50. The number is 61. Number is more than base or less than base. It's 11 more than 50. So the second part of the answer becomes 11 square. What about the first part? We'll do the same thing. 25 plus or minus. Since a number is more than base, you'll be putting plus sign here. Now this is how much more than 50? 11. So I'll put 11 here. Now let's see what's the answer. This 11 square will give you 121. And the first part of the answer, 25 plus 11, will give you 36. But I told you that the second part of the answer should be of two digits only. And 121 is a three-digit number. So you'll only write 21 here. This 1 will be carried forward here. When you carry forward 1 here, this 1 will make this 36 equal to how much? 37. So the answer becomes 3721. Now let's look at one more number which is less than 50. Let's assume that 38 square. What was the first step? Choose your base. That will remain same. That is 50. Square it. You get 2500. Then remove the last two digits. You're left with 25. Fine. Now let's look at the second part. 38 is more than 50 or less than 50? It's less than 50. How much? 12. So second part of the answer becomes 12 square. What about the first part? We'll be writing 25 here. Since your number is less than 50, we'll put a minus sign here. How much less than 50? 12. So we'll subtract 12. Now let's look at the answer. We'll directly write it. 12 square is 144, which is a three-digit number, but I need to write only two digits out of those three. I write 44 here. 1 will be carried forward to this first part. 25 minus 12 is 13, and 1 carry forward will make it 14. So the answer becomes 1444. I can easily calculate these squares within seconds. And after a practice of 10-15 days, you'll be able to give the answers orally. I hope you like this video. So this was about calculation of the squares of the numbers closer to 50. So the next video will be discussing the calculation of the squares of the numbers closer to 100. Thanks.